Okay, this is another lesson that's getting us ready for incrementing. It's getting us ready for taking this and turning it into this. And the reason is because we're saying not only can you break a number up into parts, you can break it up into a different amount of parts. So in the past, teachers, you had the kids work on, like, they did some days where they broke it into 2 parts. And that was separate from the days when they broke it into 3 parts. And now what we're basically saying is the same number could be broken up into 2 parts or 3 parts. And that those are still going to be equal to each other even though they don't have the same amount of parts. So that's kind of the idea that we want them to get, right? And now we think about how do we get them there. So first of all, just giving them this number sentence. And really, I would think about this as a diagnostic, right? Like, you should by now, you've been doing this for several weeks, like, who is still ignoring the equal sign and just adding together incorrect add-ins? Flag that right away, right? Who has decided to eliminate an add-in just because they're not used to it, right? But then most of the kids should be able to look at both sides of the equal sign and evaluate this side and evaluate this side, right? As they come back to the carpet and they explain their thing to a partner always, and then as you do this flow, here you could have somebody who did it with cubes or a picture. Here you can have someone who did the math on both sides. And hopefully here, you can have someone who represented the work with nice writing. And I know that this might seem different. This is, I guess, someone who didn't necessarily represent it the most sophisticated way, and here's someone who did the math on both sides and now is actually getting an answer, right? I'm writing it out the right way, or maybe like this, 2, 3, sorry, and 4. Oh my gosh. Let me write that for you properly. This is one way they might represent it. They might take all the ones and saying I counted 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that would just look like that right away. But either way, coming back to 4 equals 4 is always a good place, right? And then you need to really make sure that you are noticing, right, that again, what does that equal sign mean? And how are we actually proving that this is true, right? And that this is the most sophisticated way that we want to write that. Then you have another turn and talk, so okay, is this sentence true or false? And it's time for work time. So it's a pretty straightforward lesson. You just want to make sure that you're really, really getting them to the highest form of representation, reminding what the equal sign is, and then of course like pointing out, even though this is in 4 parts and this is in 2 parts, it's not about that. It's about the value on each side.